Hey, everybody, and welcome to Posley Psych with Rod Loudon. Today's guest is an Emmy-winning writer, producer, director, and actor. In 2019, he released the film Famous, which he wrote, directed, produced, and starred in. He is the author of The Cooking Caveman, How to Lose Weight, Stay Healthy, Create Mouth-Watering Paleo Recipes, and Piss Off All Your Friends. And he is the reigning poker coups champion of the world. Please welcome to Posley Psych with Rod Loudon, Mr. Jeff Nimoy.
Woo! Thank you, brother. It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. It's been looking forward to this interview with you. And I was thinking back, and we've known each other now over 20 years.
It was 98-ish, 97,
Wow.
97-ish maybe. Even.
Wow.
Yeah. So
we were different looking at that time. A little more wear and tear, but we're still looking good.
We're still hanging in there. A little more pieces of us are missing, but you know.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We both had our own challenges and highs and lows as people do in life. And I'm a big fan of the movie Famous. And
I know you're probably my number one fan. I
am biased because
I'm serious. I want to thank you for all the support, and for sharing it with so many people. And your support means a great deal to me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I remember going to the screening. It was at a theater somewhere. Was it in Hollywood, Hollywood?
The West Side Pavilion.
Right. And the place was packed.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking as the movie started and I'm hearing people just busting out laughing.
Yeah, it was a great film.
That you must have been like very proud in your heart.
It was probably the best night of my entire life, I must say. Just hearing people laugh at the right places, and then I don't want to give away anything, but the last joke comes 20 seconds before the ending, and it was the biggest laugh of the night.
Yeah.
And I was like, I nailed it. I hit it. I hit the home run.
Hey, if I can watch a movie and I'm laughing a lot, and then I'm finding myself crying, that's a win for me.
Thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of people went in thinking it was just going to be some wacky comedy, but it was a movie.
And I remember during the question and answer period, I yelled out, "Nimoy, you magnificent bastard, I watched your movie."
And like you, people write me and tell me they watch it over and over and over again. It's one of those movies that's becoming like that. And they have like little parties as well, where they share it with other friends. So it's becoming a little bit of a cult classic.
Yeah, and I always put out the vibes that it becomes a cult classic while you're still alive.
Yes. If I die, it'll become much better, much better. But it's still very small, but it's bigger than it was after there was a big rush for it when it opened because everyone I knew saw it.
Right.
Word was great. Word of mouth was great. I think we got 68 reviews on Amazon, and 67 of them were fantastic. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it 88%. So we got a little push right away. And then, it's a movie and not released in theaters. So it dies out.
Right. And the fact that
lately it's been picking up again. So that's nice.
Well, that's cool. Again, I know that, that was tough too, because, you release it, you have all these plans to go forward, and then COVID hits.
And then the pandemic. And I had to watch the premiere alone in my room, in my apartment. It came on. I was like, should I go to the corner and buy some champagne, wipe it off with disinfectant wipes and, drink alone and watch the movie? Like, it's just, it was a little, deflating, but still.
No, I remember having you over for a dinner party, and then I told you, by the way, after dinner, the guests and us and you are watching your movie. And we sat in this area right here, and you were there, and they're like, okay, I've seen it, 70,000 times, but okay, and you're a great sport, and I thought it was so cool. It was also great. Guests are like, we're gonna watch his movie, huh?
And it was great to hear the laughs. I don't think they were doing it just for me. They seemed genuine. Like at the premiere, I said to my friends before, I said, look, whether it's a great movie or a piece of garbage, I'm going to get a standing ovation because I know everyone in the room. But But you heard them and you heard the
Yeah,
Q&A afterwards. It was genuine.
no, it was, and you go in going, I hope this doesn't suck. And
Yeah.
I left going, bravo.
Yeah, thanks. And then one
And
woman,
bravo,
my
Jeff. And
friend Frances, one of the questions was, she goes, I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you. You know, we all go out to see our friends' stuff, and it's a Thursday night. I got to go down to the West Side, and you know, just because I like Jeff, and just thank you for making something good. Thank you for
yes,
making something worth me going out to see. You know, it's like because most people don't. You know, and I've seen enough garbage as my I'm sure you have too.
yep,
That was
yep.
nice.
So let's go into that and tell me the backstory. Like when did the
Famous?
idea first pop in to like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a movie called Famous?
I had the idea actually while I was doing these anime conventions. I have a big background in anime. Digimon was my big hit as a writer, director, voice director, screen adapter. They were already done in Japan, these movies, TV shows as well. And I adapted them for English audiences, English speaking audiences. And I've done some of the bigger anime franchises over the years. Not that some of your viewers might know, but they're big. They're Digimon, Naruto, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. Our friend Lex is in all of them, you know,
Right.
Lex Lang. And he's in Famous as well. He does a great job in Famous. He's
Yep,
fantastic
absolutely.
in it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, and didn't you at one point have like three shows in prime time on Adult
on
Swim?
Adult Swim. Yeah, three shows and Saturday night. They were calling it the Nimoy block.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right. It was great. Great to have. I didn't write all or and produce and direct all of those shows, but I had a piece in all of those shows. I had a hand
Right.
in all of them. That was probably the height of my career. So I peaked back in what was it, 2006? I don't remember the year that was going on. So anyway, um, I had the idea to write this show, and it went through many versions. Um, I I pitched it as a TV series once, and we had a development deal for Broadway Video, which is Lord Michaels' company, Saturday Night Live, company, and it was in development for 5 years. Eventually, MTV bought it. We wrote a script, and they passed. So that went nowhere. And but I always came to LA to be a director. That was my ultimate goal. I studied acting at NYU, but I just figured it was my in to become a director. You know, I just figured it would be easier to
Right.
get in as an actor than a director. You know, I don't know why I thought that. I didn't know anything.
Well, I know. I weren't you like on set with in a Gene Wilder film that he might have been
Yeah.
directing, and maybe Leonard, your
Leonard
relative,
Nimoy was
Nimoy
my
was on set.
cousin. Yeah, rest in peace. Leonard Nimoy was my
Yes.
cousin, a distant cousin, but a cousin nonetheless. We had a very good relationship. And he cast me, he gave me one line in a Gene Wilder movie he was directing, basically, you know.
You're
Uh,
like, I made it.
and he got me my SAG card before that. Leonard was a fantastic guy, very generous with his time. Um, so I always wanted to be a director. And, you know, if you want to be a director in this town, you got to pitch it a million times. You're basically begging for money, you know, please give me X amount of dollars to make this film. Here's my pitch. Give me money. And, you know, they don't want to, they don't want to part with their money, especially with a first time director, you know. So my dream went aside because I became very successful in anime as a voice actor, voice director, screen adapter. That my dream of directing just had to be pushed aside. And you know, anime business started to slow down. I got other jobs, and then I went to work. I was what's called a showrunner, a supervising producer on a show, a clip show for this company called Bellum Entertainment. And while I was there, uh, the company went bankrupt. The owner embezzled all the money and ran off to Dubai.
Classic.
Yeah, and right before that happened, I had gotten a brain tumor. Well, I had the brain tumor. I just got diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Yeah, you're walking around with the
I
tumor.
walked around with the brain tumor for about 5 years. And luckily I survived the brain tumor. And I like to
but
say,
but like
I,
barely though, right? If you weren't in the
yeah,
ER,
I almost died. Yeah, right then in the ER, right then and
right?
there. Um, so I like to say I don't recommend anyone getting a brain tumor, but I recommend everyone surviving a brain tumor because it gives you a different perspective in life.
That's some sage advice. If you get a
Yeah,
brain tumor, survive
right.
it,
The air smells a little sweeter.
right?
The
Yep,
food tastes a little better.
right.
You have a more gratitude for your friends and those you love. Uh, I'm gonna, get choked up just talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I decided life is short. I'm out of work. This company's gone bankrupt. I'm out of work. I survived a brain tumor. Let's direct a movie, you know? And I was tired of asking for permission. So I went back to that old idea and I wrote it out into a romantic comedy. It's really a romantic comedy. It's not a movie
yeah,
about anime. It's a romantic comedy that takes place at an anime convention. So you don't need to know anything about anime to enjoy this.
right,
Um, it helps. You'll get more Easter eggs and inside stuff, but you don't need to. It's
right.
entertaining on its own. So, by the way, I should mention it's free to watch on Tubi and Roku and YouTube and other places with
So
limited
right after this interview, everybody, go watch this movie.
FAME-ISH because I'm not famous. I'm fame-ish. Right. So, and it's a not an autobiographical story or a documentary. I play as we all do, I play a fictionalized version of myself, which I'll get to in a second with this story. So I figured, what can I make this movie with no money? Because I had no money. So I just figured, well, I'll get invited to an anime convention and film it at that working anime convention that I'm going to. And I'll cast it with other people that they usually, bring in as guests. Right. So my pitch to them was I'll bring everybody, the guests, and you just have to put us up like you usually do, fly us out like you usually do, and feed us like you usually do, and uh, and I'll use your location to shoot my movie. I'm not always doing panels, and when I'm not doing panels, I'll be filming the movie. And part of your attraction to your anime convention is be an extra in Jeff Nimoy's movie. And, I also brought along heavy hitters like Lex Lang, who is a much bigger star than I am on that stage, in that genre. So Lex attracted so much attention as well. And I brought other, big names in that world and I cast it that way. I didn't originally do that. Originally, I just wanted to cast the best actor, and a lot of people turned me down. And then I realized I gotta, cast anime stars, and so I eventually got to that part. So I don't want to make it seem like some genius. This took, a while to figure out. And so then that's what they did. And I play a fictional version of myself. People say, why didn't you name your character something else? And I thought, because it's a live convention, people could be coming up to me and saying, Mr. Nimoy, can I get your autograph? And I didn't want to be like Clark Greggs, or something like that, Uh, I, I had to be, and there were banners of my face and, everything like that. And I went with all the other actors. So we all used our names and we all played fictional versions of our names. I play a pretty bad dude in this movie, and, he gets some
At times, yes.
yeah, he gets some, he goes through a thing where gets some retribution at the end. He goes through a self-examination like all lead characters in all movies. And there's some resolution at the end. But, at the beginning of the movie, he's a bit of an asshole, There's no other way getting around it. But that's okay. I didn't mind playing it. because it wasn't me. It was a character
Right.
I was playing who just happened to be named Jeff Nimoy.
Right.
Yeah. And the convention pretty much paid for all that. And we shot, you wouldn't know because you're not a director, but we shot 80% of the movie in those like 6 days at the anime convention, which is outrageous. It's
Right.
so moving so fast.
What did you shoot it on?
I used two cameras, and I used two Sony cameras that were specialized in low light because we weren't going to have time to like set lights or anything. And I used two cameras because I wouldn't have time to get two setups, just one setup, boom, get the close-ups, maybe one or two takes tops. And we moved lightning fast. And it was, I pitched it to everyone. I also used a student crew. I found a convention in Madison, Wisconsin, which I had everything I needed, and I went to the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and that went to the film department, and I got students to be my crew. And they wanted to work with an Emmy winner. I brought the Emmy because I knew you'd bring it up, so I just
Of
bring
course.
it.
And hey, well, let's shift gears like that. Emmy for your work in NFL and ESPN.
Yeah, with the NFL, right? I used to do all the comedy for a show called NFL Films Presents,
Right.
and I
I
was not.
remember watching that,
Yeah,
and now I'm thinking back. One of the things I remember one time was they were showing, I don't know, was someone in the stands or a football player doing this, and all of a sudden this opera belts out, and then it reminded me one night at one of our poker games,
right,
on the playlist came Bocelli, and you
right,
walk into the room, and you're singing to the lamp, and then you're like this far from the wall, and we're all just dying of
right.
laughter as you're just belting it out with your
And,
heart. And I
and
thought,
that's
was that Jeff that was doing that
it
in those
was
films?
because I saw a guy in the stands at Lambeau Field who looked like Pavarotti.
Yeah.
So he sang a song about the Packers in the Super Bowl. He wore a cheese head.
And was that your
The
voice?
Green Bay Packers. Oh yes, I do.
And all these years later, I actually meet the person. I thought that was the funniest thing when I saw it. And here I am
Yeah,
talking to the guy that was the voice.
that's right.
Amazing. Well, I know you won an Emmy. You were nominated like 3 times, I believe.
3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the
But the
crew
boy's
is
got some talent. We're not.
the crew was thrilled to work with us, and they were good. They were as good as anybody. And the airport, like I thought I'd have to sneak around and everything, with no permits or anything. But they were like, yeah, we're not using the southern terminal. Take the whole terminal to use. They were so great. You couldn't do it in LA, you know?
No.
So it was just really an amazing experience. And my pitch to everyone was this: I have no money. I don't know if this movie is going to be any good. I don't even know if anyone will ever see it. It might not make the light of day. If it's terrible, I'm not showing it to anyone. But I'm tired of asking for permission. And if you're tired too, let's make a movie together.
Right.
And I
And do you
got the
attribute
right
to
people.
that you might have not made the movie if it wasn't for the brain tumor?
Absolutely right. I would have been content making my little money and my mild mannered career in show business, under the radar. And I would have been just happy paying my rent.
Yeah.
And it was just I would have missed out on the greatest experience of my life, pretty much.
Yeah. So, it's weird how life is kind of like that because, I'm a cancer survivor. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm no longer waiting to buy a Paul Reed Smith. I'm
Right.
no longer waiting to get the HX effects pedal that I want. I'm no longer waiting to upgrade to the amp I want. And I went to Guitar Center, bald now from the radiation
Right.
chemo, and I bought all this stuff. And I told my wife, when I get through this, I'm starting a band.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Right.
And it's been pure joy. I've met some great guys through that, and it opened just pathway to new friendships. And I don't get the cancer. I probably never start a band. It's just I'll do that later, or
Right. Yeah.
And it,
Yeah. My friends, I have some friends who have come up with a catchphrase: Nimoy waits for no one. Because and I also don't do anything I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to see these people anymore. I've seen you enough. That's enough. we've had a good run, friendship wise, but that's enough. You don't bring me enough joy. You just don't.
I'm done.
I'm being honest. I only try to do things that bring me joy these days. It's a little tougher now that Hollywood is sort of shut down and I'm a little limited in what I get to do joyfully.
Right,
But you know, I still pretty much keep to that. I don't do much that I don't want to do.
right. You know, and a lot of people, but they people that are not in Hollywood or in the area, they might glamorize and think, oh, all you have to do is get one hit or have this one thing, and then you're rolling in the mansion for life. And that's not the life of a working actor, writer, director at
Right.
all.
If I owned Digimon, maybe
Right,
that would be true, but I didn't own
right,
it. I was just a working stiff, you
right,
know. I drew a salary
right,
like everybody else, and you know, I'm not complaining. I made a great living, and you know, if I had spent wisely, uh, saved wisely, maybe I'd have a moderate house. You know, nothing crazy.
right.
But you know, also part of the creative risk and you know not saying I'm going to take a steady job, I'm only going to work in show business, it's pretty limiting and you can go long periods of unemployment, so you've got to save some of that money too to live
Right,
off of just living expenses,
right.
you know. And
And then the fear is, what if the next job doesn't come?
well, here's the thing, you always say, I don't know if I'll ever be hired again. And people always say, you'll find something. I'm like, yeah, you say that, but I don't know that. And, you know, sometimes I've had to wait a lot longer than I've wanted to, but yeah, something always came up. Now, recently, though, since the writer's strike and the actor's strike at the same time that happened in 23, you know, it happened and ended for a reason. The streamers knew what was coming. They
Right,
realized their business model didn't work anymore, and the streamers are now basically the Hollywood studios because since the pandemic, they realize most people are not watching movies at home. Theaters are going to be like TV or, you know, to the radio, you know, radio still exists, but TV is much bigger. And most people are watching at home and they realize they're losing money. So they just shut it down. And
yeah. In
only
my
the
private
top
practice,
1%, only the big boys are making movies.
right. Yeah, in
And
my private practice, I've worked with a lot of people in the industry and with
yeah,
other Emmy winners and showrunners, writers,
right.
actors,
It's
and a lot of it is helping them through the deal with, like, okay, really great career. Now I'm older. They're not looking to hire the
yeah,
60-year
right.
old white person anymore,
Exactly.
and it's really tough out there.
It's hard. And you know, I'm an Emmy winner. I'm going up
Right,
against Oscar winners, you know, for the same job because over a third of the entertainment industry is unemployed in Los Angeles
right,
right now.
right,
So we're all hurting. You know, I had
right.
one job since the end of 2023, one job that
Wow,
lasted 13 weeks.
wow.
And we all went out for a beer after, and we all went around the table going, what do you have coming next? And everyone said, this is it. This is all I have for the whole year. I don't think I have anything
Right.
else, including,
Yeah, that's the dual-edged sword of the creative clan.
yeah, right. So I've never seen it like this,
Right,
where, you know, I'm looking and looking and looking, and there's just nothing out there.
right,
And I've also never seen it that all my friends are in the same boat.
right.
So this is a very scary time for myself and the entertainment industry and all of us that work in it. And I got to tell you, Rod, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no clue what's going to happen to me.
Well,
And it's
I'm
very
sending out some
worrisome.
positive vibes for you, brother, because
Thanks.
you're very talented. You've
Thanks.
got the experience, you've got the wisdom, you've got the know-how. Uh, you're a valuable person in your field.
Thanks. Should I lay down on the couch for this while we talk about this?
Yes, yeah, sure.
Are you charging me by the hour?
No, absolutely not, man. Uh, but no, it is amazing, and it is, when people think about, oh, I want to go to Hollywood. I came out to Hollywood to go to rock and roll music school. I dropped out of my PsyD program to go to music, and I think, okay, maybe I'll become a rock star, and
Right.
it's more answering the what if question about music. And then, I played in the Sunset Strip and did all that stuff. And then, Aerosmith's management came and saw us and they said, bye. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm going back to graduate school,
I wasn't
but
smart
I
enough
had,
to-
but for a lot of people, when you really throw your whole in and dedicate yourself in there, which really needs to be done to be successful in something, it can be very, very tough. So, if you want to get the shit beat out of you, come out to LA and try to be in the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
You
it's
better
not
have some
for
thick
the weak
skin.
of, it's not for the weak of stomach.
Right.
It's not an industry for thin-skinned people or people who like to hear no a lot, for sure. But I also realized, I had a 5-year plan. I went nowhere, and then I realized I can't have a plan B anymore. And I put myself into it, and I started to work. Once I threw myself into it. Of course, there was a period where I lost my apartment. I was living in my car, but I was determined,
Right.
and I climbed out of that hole.
Well, that's badass,
Yeah,
man.
and now I'm about to climb back into it.
Oh
So
shit.
it's a better
Let's
car, a better car to live in than it used to be.
You're gonna be in a van down by the river giving motivational speeches.
But I'll be in one out of necessity, not because I'm doing. I can't even do drugs because I can't afford them. I wish I could
That's
get.
awful,
I
man.
wish
I'm
I
sorry to
could
hear
get
that.
high and
But
escapism.
hopefully, I know that you had tried to get famous in it as a screening at one of the larger anime. Whatever happened with
Well,
that?
I did. I did get it at Comic-Con,
Oh, okay.
and then I got it at also Anime Fest in LA. I can't remember what it's called. It's a huge one in Los Angeles. I can't remember what it's called, but it happens every July 4th. And like no one would show up, in
Yeah.
the
They're too busy running around trying to get autographs from Lex Lang.
exactly. So we get a few people, but certainly not the hundreds. Like when I first went to Comic-Con to do a panel, there were like, 5,000 people there, and there were like 6 people to see Famish when I went. And as I'm going, trying to book it into other conventions, and they don't want it. I'm wondering why. And it's because there's so much to do at a convention. They don't want to be in a movie theater for 90 minutes.
Right.
And also they're in costume. They're the star of the anime convention, not me. They
Right.
want to show off their costumes and get pictures taken with each other. And it's great to meet me and, here's $40 for an autograph and all that. But 90 minutes, I'm asking too much of them to sit in a theater when they can
Yeah.
watch it at
That makes
home
sense.
for free on Tubi, Roku, YouTube.
Again, after this
I don't
podcast,
mean to,
please go
I
to
don't mean
watch
to plug,
Famous,
but
starring Jeff Nimoy.
it wrote itself. The plug wrote itself on that one.
Yeah. I want to switch gears a little bit now.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, you became the cooking caveman,
Yeah.
and
That
you
was
were releasing
before
videos sharing paleo dishes, and you wrote the book, The Cooking Caveman. What brought you into that world?
I was actually writing an animated movie about these little creatures, and they were very sort of tribal, like Native Americans or even cavemen. So I was just Googling research. What did the Native, Americans eat? What did cavemen eat? And something popped up on my Google feed that said the caveman diet. And I clicked onto it, and this whole world about this paleo diet, hunter gatherer diet, a lot of people call it. I never heard of it. And it was like eat like a caveman. It's basically don't eat processed food, just eat real food. Don't buy a bottle of ketchup, make it out of a tomato and so forth,
Right.
and
But like no coffee, no beans, no dairy, no starches,
it's right.
nothing the
No
caveman might
grain, no
have.
grains, no sugar, no salt, no complex starches, none of that. And organic on top of that, because it wouldn't be pesticides back then. Uh, and it was incredible. I said, this is fantastic. It's fascinating. I'm going to try it for a month. And in a month, I like lost 25 pounds. And everyone thought I had cancer
Yeah.
because I
No,
lost.
I remember um, having done that, I think in 2008, and I did it for 3 months with no alcohol, no caffeine, strictly paleo, and I went from like 186 to 152.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like my high school weight again, and everyone was like, "You okay? Eat something. You should eat something. Don't lose any more weight though,
Go have
Like
a donut.
they all thought I was out of my mind, and they were all like angry about it a little bit that I was like doing it and like posting about it, and then every once in a while I show a slice of pizza on my cheat day, and I go, "Good, I thought you weren't human." I'm like, "Of course I'm human. What are you talking about?" They were angry.
Right.
That's why the name of the book ends with "and how to piss off all your friends."
No, I remember you talking about that, and in terms to coffee, that you said coffee is like it's only Sundays, and I'm waking up like it's Christmas morning, and I'm
Yeah, my 1 cup of coffee a week. That smells. Oh, and getting off of
wow,
coffee
I
is
just
very
remembered
hard.
this.
I almost never want to get off of coffee again because that headache is so bad. That
Yeah,
deep
and look, yeah, a lot of people have that. I just was reminded of this. I had you come
yeah,
and
that's right.
speak. So when I was working for the county
That's right.
as a clinical supervisor and a supervisor of children's services, I was starting. I said I want to do this like healthy January, and I thought, well, why don't I see if I can gather as many people in the office to do that? So I
Yeah,
walked around to like 150 people, and I gave them, you want to do full paleo, you want to give up bread, you want to give up coffee, pick a category, get
yeah.
sugared, pick
Do
something.
something. Right. You
Right.
don't have to do
And,
all of what
and I
I'm
think
doing.
about 20 people started off with everything. And
Yeah.
then I said to kick off the event, I would bring in the cooking caveman, and you
Yeah.
came in and you spoke.
I
That was
did.
so cool.
Yeah. And they all said, well, you look very fit, and I everything had changed. They were shocked at how old I was,
Right.
you're that old, at the time.
Right.
Um, so it was a good experience. And then suddenly I started getting fat. And I went to the doctors and I was like, how can I get fat on the paleo diet? It's literally
Right.
impossible. And, I had all these doctors say things like, well, you're getting older, your metabolism slowing down, maybe you have a virus.
Yeah.
And then, I had another issue, and they're like, oh, well, I can't, I have no energy anymore. Well, you're getting older now. Maybe you have a virus. I had more viruses than any human I knew. And, and 5 years later, finally, I got this massive headache. Go to the ER, and it turns out I had a brain tumor that was causing all of these things.
And luckily it was operable.
Right. It was on my pituitary gland, which is sort of the command center for all the other glands. So I was gaining weight because my thyroid wasn't working anymore, which controls weight. And, I just couldn't lose weight. As soon as after the operation, I lost 20 pounds just coming out of the operation almost immediately. And, they put me on medication.
Right.
And I still have issues. I'll have issues for the rest of my life. I have no pituitary gland left, so I'm on
Wow.
pills and injections. And that's the most ironic thing is the big thing for me about why I love paleo the most was like, I'll never have to be on pills again. It's the healthiest diet in the world. Cancer can't live in an alkaline body. I'm like,
Right.
this is
All
great.
that sugar and glucose.
And then I get a brain tumor, benign, but it was on my pituitary gland, so it did a lot of damage for a benign tumor. As my neurologist, my neurosurgeon said, there's no such thing as a benign brain tumor. It might not be cancerous, but it's not benign,
Right.
just by being there. And now I'm on pills for the rest of my life. So I'm like, well, why, I don't do paleo quite as much now because it's like, I did it to be healthy and I got a brain tumor.
Well, that's like me too. It's like I was running the plank club at work and
Yes.
calling people to planking, and people are the healthiest. And I made this stupid joke one day. Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that gets cancer. And then, God damn it,
Right,
Be
exactly.
careful what you send out into the
Right, exactly.
universe.
So, if I want a beer on a Friday night now, I just have one. If I want to order a pizza on a Saturday night, I just order it now. I don't worry
Right.
about any of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's balance.
Exactly. Right. Moderation. A real
I'm
moderation,
going to
not what
switch
people
subject
say
again
it.
now. I'm
I'm
going to go
sorry.
back to Brooklyn, New York, the
Ooh.
birthplace of Jeffrey Nimoy.
Shut up, Rod. You're not my father. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my father.
What
How far back are we
was
going
it
to
like
go?
growing up in Brooklyn?
Brooklyn was, looking back, it was the golden age of street urchins and, I'm the last of that generation that lived that, golden era of Brooklyn. The Dodgers were already gone, but my family remembered it, so my sisters were alive when the Dodgers were in town, so I'm the baby of the family. So it was great. And I'm glad I grew up there. I have such a street mentality, that my other friends don't have, a streetwise sensibility, that my friends don't have. If we were ever doing something, once I came to California and like my friends were in their 20s and they be like, we should get some pot, you know, let's get Nimoy to do it. He's tough enough, he's tough enough to talk to hoodlums and criminals and do something illegal. I remember once we went to like Cancun or St. Martin, something like that. And they were like, we were waiting for you to get here so you could buy us some pot, because we're too scared to do it. So I talked to some guy, recognized, I don't know why, I just have this insane, criminal element in from Brooklyn. I recognized what criminals look like immediately. And I went up to the guy, we both, I gave the nod and he goes, what do you want? And I go, pot. And he goes, come on. And he's taking me now down an alley. I'm in a long, dark alley now in St. Martin. I don't know what's going to happen to me, right?
Right.
So I immediately go back to my Brooklyn. My Brooklyn just comes out naturally. And now I'm John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. I'm walking, you can almost hear the BJ's playing. BJ's in the
I can
back.
tell by the way that Jeffrey walks. He's a Brooklyn guy.
And I'm like, how much? Forget about it. Come on, give me something. And I could have gotten jacked by all these guys that were been back there in the dark alley. But I handled myself, so that's what Brooklyn gave me more than anything else, and an appreciation for food. The food in Brooklyn is fantastic. I've still yet to see it recreated anywhere else that I've been.
That's very cool. Now, did any of your peers, did they go to NYU with you? Did they go into show business
Oh
or?
yeah, I went to NYU for acting, and one of my best friends there was Adam Sandler. He did
Oh,
he did pretty good for himself.
yeah. I
He
think I've heard that name.
Yeah, he booked a gig or two.
Right.
And someone gave word to him that I hadn't talked to him in about 15 years, and someone got to word to him that I had brain surgery, and he called me. It was very nice. We caught up a little bit. That was really sweet of him. Uh, and uh,
And then you said, "Hey, you want to help put finance famous? I got to go, Jeff.
well, it sort of is
Making
like
a
that.
movie."
It is sort of like that. Uh, Titus Welliver, who starred as Bosch for all these years, he was a really good friend of mine at NYU. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I
Oh,
did
wow.
play with
The
him.
late great.
He was not a very serious guy at all. That he portrayed himself to be in interviews. He was a fun, almost like a frat boy, type of guy. And he wasn't Philip Seymour. He was just Phil Hoffman, great guy, and quite a few others. I'm leaving out many, but quite a few.
Right.
So we were a talented class, and most of us though are not in show business anymore. We have a group page on Facebook, and I was shocked to see how few of us are still in show business.
For our younger viewers out there, Facebook is like a TikTok, but for old people.
Watch TikTok, Rob?
You know, I still have an AOL, one of my emails,
Oh my
and
God.
I call it aging old lad.
Yeah,
Aging old lad.
exactly. Yeah.
They're one of, you know, if someone's got an AOL email, they were like one of the first people in the World Wide Web on the internet. So, you know,
I'm thinking about getting a MySpace account. I don't know if you
yes, MySpace, yes.
or
I,
Friendster.
yeah,
Maybe I haven't decided between the
I
two.
heard you've been stealing a lot of stuff through Napster.
I was big on MySpace. I had several pages of projects on MySpace. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I never had the MySpace thing, but yeah, I
It
came
worked best
into,
if you were like an entertainer. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
great place to talk to your fans and things like
right.
and sell them stuff.
Right. So, psychologically speaking, you've been through a lot and, you know,
I'm
great
still going.
highs,
I'm
great
still
lows,
going
kind
through a
of
lot.
an amazing human experience. And oh, I remember I also just popped in. You have a great singing voice.
Well,
I
thank you.
think I even asked you at one time, you want to sing lead for my band? And you're like, get out of here, loud.
No, I did
And
not say that. I said, let's jam, but I wasn't up on some of the other bandmates that I wanted. I just didn't want to jam with some of the other bandmates.
right. Who I
And
don't even remember who were at
Nimoy
that time.
doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do.
Right. And but I remember you invited Linda and I to come see you. I don't know if it was a
It was just a
fundraiser,
sing along thing. It was
sing along. And I remember Robbie Rist, who I've had on the podcast, was there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And
Robbie was
do you
there.
remember what you sang?
Yeah, I sang several songs. I sang
Was it
Tempted by
like,
Squeeze. I sang Little Pink Houses by John Mellencamp. I sang Every Breath You Take by the Police. I sang Kiss by Prince.
yeah,
I,
yeah. And I remember you were really good. So,
yeah,
hey,
thanks.
maybe that's your next gig. Anyone looking for a lead singer?
I have sang and sung in many a episode of anime. I
Right.
I booked a commercial once where I sang from a guitarist in that little sing along band. He was like, "Hey, you've got a great raspy voice. I'm writing a song for Bristol Speedway in Tennessee. Would you do the vocals?" And I'm looking for a John Mellencamp type of voice, and all the way to Bristol. It was good. Real fun. I was
That's
happy
awesome.
to do it. Yeah.
So, who knows, man? Who knows where it goes? But um, so yeah, psychologically, you know,
Psychologically, I'm exhausted. I got to tell you.
I'm tired.
Between the brain tumor and the industry and the constant doctors, it's a bummer, man, going to
No,
doctors constantly.
yeah. Well,
And
luckily for me, I had a highly curable form of cancer, and once I was done with the 5 years and the prodding and cameras up the nose and everything like that, I was basically done.
yeah,
So
unfortunately, my treatment is ongoing for the rest of
yeah,
my.
so what you went through was way, way harder than
I
what I
have to
went
get my
through.
blood checked every about 4 to 5 months. It depends. If I get a really bad blood test, 3 months. If it looks really good, 5 months. And it's a constant sort of checking the blood levels and saying, all right, let's increase this pill. Let's do less
Right?
for
Because
this
now you're on this pill,
injection.
it causes this
Right.
side effect, so you got to be on this pill.
Yeah. Right now I'm down to 4 pills a day and a injection, and then one other injection once a month. So, and
Yeah,
that's daily. The other injection is once a month. So
man, we're both still alive and kicking.
I
Hopefully, we
know,
won't
man.
get too crotchety in our older age.
Look, I have no problems a good job won't solve. And that's a good place to be.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, it's been amazing having you on the podcast,
Thanks, buddy. I hope
and
I can inspire some people out there not to wait to do their dream.
yeah,
I inspired my friend Mandy Fabian, who had been this close as a filmmaker, was in a lot of the big filmmaker programs in studios, and she decided to make a film after seeing Famous. She was like, "I'm not waiting either. You inspired me," and I did all the post production on her movie. I got a co-producer credit. It's called Jess Plus None. and I
Okay.
don't know if it's out available for people to see or rent, but I'm sure it is. Look it up. Jess plus none, Mandy Fabian, director.
Excellent. Definitely will look that one up. Oh, no, okay. I guess I'm not done. Um, it's Roads Cross. So um, there's a famous woman that I think you worked with, Mary. God, I'm blanking on her name. Mary Ellen. Did she take over?
Oh, the woman who did South Park,
I,
who passed away?
no. She's still a voiceover actress. You worked with her. She was in Lex Lang's band singing backup. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yes. Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth. That's it.
Yeah.
That
Mary Elizabeth Mc. I'm terrible. Since the brain tumor,
yeah.
I can't remember names as much.
But I had, in looking at your career and researching, I think you had worked with her.
Oh, many times.
Right. And then
We've
she
cast
ends up
each other in
as
things as
a
well.
background singer in the Lex Lang band when I was.
Yeah, and I put that song in Famous as well that she sings back up on.
Right. That Lex
Bump
wrote,
That
right?
Body. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great scene. I love that.
Thank you.
You got the Jack Daniels bottle, you got the leather coat, cigarette hanging out of your mouth,
the
sunglasses.
first thing most people talk about that movie is the music.
Yeah,
music.
It's great.
Yeah,
it really is great.
McGlynn, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn.
Yeah,
and she's married to Steve.
So, anyway, again, now that you've hopefully watched this for more than 30 seconds and you actually made it to the end of my podcast, go watch Famous tonight.
Yeah.
And Jeff, you're a wonderful human being. I wish you nothing but the best.
I love you, brother.
I love to call you brother. And I still got the Seahawks, the SoFi Cup. Remember, we all went to the Rams Seahawks game and had beers, and I jumped down into the row below us, and my foot went right into the cup holder, and I smashed. And
nobody wanted to sit next to you but me.
Yeah.
Anybody want to switch seats?
I guess you're having my beer, Jeff, and I took the one, and that's got the.
Anybody want to switch seats with me?
Yeah. That was a fun time.
They didn't want to switch. They did not want to sit with him because he's a bad guy. They didn't want to sit with him because he was a Seahawks fan and we were at a Rams game. That's
right. Well, you're a big Giants fan.
I'm a Giants fan. What do I care?
Exactly. Tough loss.
They're all tough losses real days, but they're going to start the Giants.
Hopefully turn it around, but
they're going to start the new
quarterback Russell Wilson.
You can have Russell Wilson back, by the way.
No, I thank God that Russell Wilson came to Seattle and got the Super Bowl victory for Seattle. He will always be a legend in Seattle, always a place in my heart. But as most quarterbacks go, and you get older, you still want to play, but the body just isn't there.
Well, the Giants are going to start the new kid this week.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they've already announced. So Wilson, we'll see how he takes being a backup for the first time in his career.
We'll see. All right, Jeff. Well, thanks again, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully you'll stop by a poker game once I hear.
As soon as I get a job. As soon as I get a job, it's my next stop.
Right. Not hustling coups. Like, let me go hustle coups for a couple hundred from these guys.
People don't know what that is. It's a game.
I know, it's an inside joke. It's a poker game that Jeff is the world champion of. So he's got that going for him, which is nice.
All right, give my love to Linda.
Will do, man. Thanks.
All right, pal. Bye.